I would now like to invite on stage the CEO of one of the most progressive group of schools, which provides quality education to their students, spread across 130 plus schools across the world, offering 6 plus curriculums with a student community of 270,000 students. I would like to call upon Mr. Ryan Pinto, CEO, Ryan Group of Institutions, to talk on changing times, changing needs.
Check. No. As we get ready with my presentation, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I want to begin by giving God all the glory. I thank the organizers for inviting me. Once again, it's wonderful to be associated with this company, with this institution. I once again welcome all the dignitaries, Dr. Karam, Mr. Mark, Dr. Shetty. And it's wonderful to see several fellow colleagues from India. I welcome you all to Dubai, a great city, vibrant city, which has arrived as one of the leading educational hubs globally. I know some of you know me, some of you don't. I represent the Ryan Group, as they said, 130 schools spread across India and now the UAE. We've been in the UAE for approximately the last 5 years. We have 4 schools here in the UAE, and we look to expand our presence here in this great country and also in the larger Middle East. In India, we have about 130 schools educating over 250,000 children. And some of you think that we are a franchise, but we are not a franchise. We are a family organization. We have a family of 15,000 staff that work together for the good, for the future of our children. I stand here with great humility. I'm not here claiming to give you the answers of how do we adapt to change. But I'm here instead to give you some thoughts, some food for thought, as you listen to other speakers and as you are here to explore your opportunities in working in Dubai. Well, okay. So we all know there is change. But there is one thing that is constant about the future, and that is change. What an irony. Let's look at a couple of things that are changing in the education sector and things that are forcing changes in the education sector. Very plainly, one is the population. This benchmark is ever changing. How do we ever match the demand and supply? The changing role of a teacher. We all know teachers used to stand up in front of the class and they were the information silos, but today information is available to each and every student. And some of the people talk about whether the teacher is ever going to be replaced by technology or maybe in the future have an avatar representing a class teacher. I know some of the students would think, yes, I would prefer an avatar so I could play some more mischief in class. But this is a question that we all have to think. Technology goes beyond the brick and mortar. How do we reach the last mile? We know that this gap has to be filled, but can we have enough schools, physical schools, to ever reach and bridge that gap? 21st century skills, as Dr. Karam said, about critical thinking, about imagination. How do we equip our children with the 21st century skills? This is something also that Dr. Karam said, that how do we prepare our students for jobs that don't even exist today? Maybe even as early as 2020 or 2025, a nanomedic, a space agriculture engineer, maybe would be having an urban farm on Mars. Who knows? Climate change reverse engineers and specialists. We know that there is an experiment going on in the Pacific about cleaning up the ocean in the next 5 years with all of the plastic waste. And this was initiated by a student in Europe from one of his class projects. Space pilots to take us to tour the moon, to tour, and explore the boundaries of space. A carbon accountant. I know some of you are here, investors, real estate investors. You always look at numbers, but maybe we would start looking at numbers from our carbon footprint. This is something that really touches us and worries us as we see the changing dynamics of the world, of the community and economy, where students are looking at fast and easy money. They don't look at a career as self-fulfillment or to look at growing and becoming the best, exploring and pushing their potential, but looking at what job is going to get them the best money and the fastest way to do it. They're influenced by more materialistic thinking. But we as a school, we want to incorporate the values, the ethics, and the morals that are going to shape the future of our children, of our families, of our communities, of our countries. There's a word that we have in Hindi which says insaniyat, which is humanity. Let us as educators never forget to instill that aspect of humanity, the love for one another, and how do we work together. The way we interact, the way the kids interact are changing. You know, social media, email is long gone. We're WhatsApping each other. We're even Snapchatting on updating what's happening. I'm not even sure if all of us are aware what Snapchat is. I'd ask you to go into your class and ask your students to update you on what that is. Even the way we interact with our students and children are changing. We have dual income families. We are becoming busier and busier. And this is something that we see in our parents. When they come back home, they're too tired. We're too tired to talk to our children. We're too tired to be involved in their life. We're too tired to sit with them and do their homework. Instead, we'll say, okay, here, take the phone, take the iPad, go do something. Take some money, go watch a movie. There is such a disconnect and that gap is ever increasing. It's a little scary. And I know that we sometimes get irritated at the fact that children are always on the phones, you know, on Facebook. But I'd ask a question. While I've been talking, how many of you have checked your phone? How many of you have checked your WhatsApp? How many of you checked your Twitter or Facebook status? We all do it. We are all part of that. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time on technology, and we all know this, so I'm not going to go too much in detail, but the type of technology devices that we have in our classroom. Unfortunately, I have experienced this. I'm not as young as you might think. As Mr. Mark was saying about a couple of things that were significant in 1985, Emirates, the Jebel Ali Free Zone, and yours truly. I was also born in 1985. So at some point, I hope to achieve a milestone which is recognizable in the community with the impact for our future. Moving on, projectors, clickers. Have some of you used this in your classroom? Now, this beautiful thing has brought great joy when I was in school. Because when I saw this, I'm thinking, oh yes, it's a free period. Why? Because there was complete disconnect with engagement of the student. Because they're just going to put a movie on, a video clip, for the next 30, 40 minutes. Teacher's going to get a cup of coffee, or, you know, even go to the staff room and chat and think about what are they going to do for the weekend. This is something what our modern day classrooms look like, but that's also changing because classrooms are becoming educational spaces not confined within the borders, within the boundaries, within the constraints of four walls. Robotics. This is something, you know, which is really engaging our students to explore their creativity and at the same time their imagination. This beautiful thing, 3D printers, wow. They are fast changing the way kids can think, imagine, and create. Because that creativity is coming right in the palm of your hands. And we see 3D printers now which look like pens, literally like pens. I would encourage some of you to test some of these things out in your school. Just give that 3D pen to a bunch of your students and look at the wonderful things that they create. This thing has become old now. Tablets, everybody uses. This aspect of BYOD, bring your own device. You know, we're all trying to grapple with how do we actually implement technology and be effective with it, not just do it for the sake of doing it. You know, technology talks about breaking barriers, breaking locational barriers, breaking affordability barriers, and also preparing our students for the job market, because technology is no more, you know, your IT class where we take our children to the IT room. No, technology is right there with them, in their pockets, in their bags, in front of them. Technology claims for increased engagement. We see that textbooks, physical textbooks, are kind of dying out. Everybody's talking about e-books, you know, with greater interactive aspects with e-books. And of course, you know, teachers want to do it because they want to seem cool in front of their students. Active learning. Concepts of 360 learning, flipped classroom. How do we actually give the onus of education and the future to our students? Let them be drivers of their future. Again, 21st century skills is something, Dr. Kalam, you were talking about. How do we encourage our students to develop critical thinking, imagination, and greater collaboration? And collaboration is something that technology does really well at pretty much low cost, and that cost is essentially, I believe, going to diminish to a point where it's not going to matter anymore. How do we respond to change? One very simple way. We just ignore. We say, hey, I'm not going to change. I am a 150-year-old institution. We've been doing this since none of us were here. So we know what's the best practice. We know what's the way to do it. But the fact is, the world is ever changing, and we need to change with that time. With every aspect of change, as we all are part of various organizations, we need leaders. We need teams. And I love this quote, which says, if each of us hires people who are smaller than us, because we're afraid, then we shall become a company of dwarfs. But if each of us hire people who are bigger than us, then we shall become a company of giants. And I really believe in that. Because I want to be a giant. I want my organization to be a giant. We need teams. We need people to work with us. We need people to implement and engage and execute the vision. We need to harness power of collaboration and implement best practices. Teams give us strength. There's always greater strength in numbers. Jim Collins talks about getting the right people on the bus. We have to decide where we want to go, get the right people with the right mindset, and let's get on our journey. Training and development, we have to be at the cutting edge. We have to be updated. We have to be relevant. This, dear friends, look at the difference. That little thing, some of you have seen it. Some of you have played around with it. That used to be a portable computer. And the difference between that portable computer and the 2007 iPhone is just 25 years. And look at that piece of technology in that iPhone was greater than the first satellite that was sent for the moon mission, for the Apollo missions. That amount of technology. Wow. What's going to happen in the next 5, 10, 15 years? Who knows? Leading by example. Nelson Mandela. One of the things I learned when I was negotiating was that until I changed myself, I couldn't change others. We always think that we are constrained, we are limited. And we always hear this phrase, think out of the box. I just arrived here this early morning from the US, so I might seem a little loopy, I might seem a little red-eyed, but excuse me, I'm a little jet-lagged. I want to share a photograph that I saw at the airport. And this, for me, represented something, the way we think of, that we kind of think outside the box. So there is a picture of this man. And I was thinking, this is really odd. What is he doing? He was representing a piece of art. There's an actual person sitting in a glass box. And it got me thinking that when we use the phrase, think outside of the box, are we actually thinking outside of the box? Or are we sitting inside the box with just one part open and just looking upward and have no idea what's going around us? Or are we sitting in a glass box, looking at what's happening, but we are moving nowhere? We're going nowhere. We're still inside the box. So I'd encourage people to think there is no box. Forget the box. Put the box in recycling. Open your minds and experiment and see what works. This picture, I'll keep the name of this person nameless. But this picture was taken in Dubai at a local barber in Bud, Dubai. If you can see, there is a bit of a plastic gap for what? To use your phone, because today we are so addicted to this phone, and we have no time even for 10 minutes when we go for a shave or a haircut. We're constantly moving our phone. How many of us have done that? I've done that all the time. It buzzes, you remove your hand. So these guys have come up with this little plastic pocket. Something genius. I'm not going to go into this, but there are various scientific methods of adapting to change, and you have a lot of it. There is no perfect method. We can persuade, we can influence, or we can force. I had a video, but I don't think the sound is working. Okay.
that stuff up in this Humpty Bumpy. You killed a Joe, you make some more. You know that, baby. Else you in for a long day. A long day. Cause Triple D's up in this bitch.
Some people said I was crazy when I brought Terry on board, but I'm a firm proponent of paradigm breaking, outside-the-box thinking. And since Terry's been with us, our productivity has gone up 46%.
Break was over 15 minutes ago, bitch. I am an enforcer, man. Don't nothing go down in my house. It's 100% hard, baby. Sure, I jack a few fools. I give them the pain. But sometimes it's about intimidation, you know. It's mind games.
So, I'll see you later.
Take razor! Take razor! Get ready for the pain, woman! The pain train is coming!
It's in there. Please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me. Thank you, Ted. Thank you, God.
But what's real?
Just to, look at the comical side. So there was this big American footballer that was hired by, and this is an ad by Reebok. I almost was so tempted to write to Reebok and say, please give me this Terry. I need this guy in my office. Some of us think we really need them. This is one of the ways that we enforce our vision, enforce our thinking, enforce our ideas. Maybe not physically, but at least mentally, to bring about change in our offices. But maybe there's a better way that nobody gets hurt and breaks some bones. Fact is, change is always difficult, but we have to deal with it. I love this quote by Abraham Lincoln, which talks about the dogmas of the quiet past are inadequate to the stormy present. The occasion is piled high with difficulty, and we must rise with the occasion. As our case is new, so we must think anew and act anew. We must disenthrall ourselves, and then we shall save our country. I'm going to end this little talk with a little exercise. Is it okay? Because, we love to be in classrooms, and we love activities in our classrooms. So if you can, will you join me for a little exercise? Can I see a little bit of nodding? Okay. All right. So I'm going to see how engaged you are, how great listeners you are. Is that okay? So you have to do as I say. Okay? Everybody ready? All right. Here we go. Can I see everybody's right hand up? Right hand up. Okay, wonderful. Everybody, 100% attention. Okay, let's put our left hand up. Wait a second. I never asked you to put your right hand down. Come on, I want to see both the hands. All right, let's click. Can you click? Okay, for those who can't click, let's clap and clap and clap. Okay, now we're going to do a little bit of music, a little bit of dance, a little bit of groove. All right, let's take our right hand and click and turn around. Oh, yeah. Okay, we're coming to the end of this exercise. Now, everybody pay attention. Everybody pay attention. Okay, let's move it around. One more time. Now, this is going to be really quick. Watch out. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and everybody hold your nose. Oh, my goodness. What happened to our noses? Oh. Wow, did you see? That was magic. Well, what happened there, ladies and gentlemen? I asked you to do as I say. But what happened? You did as I did. I held my ear. You held your ear. I asked you to hold your nose, but that didn't matter. Your eyes were fixed on me. So this is something the way we adapt to change. We just look at others and just follow in the line. But in fact, we need to be the change agents. And I'd like to end by the quote of Mahatma Gandhi, which says, be the change you want to see in the world. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you find it interesting. I wish you all the very best. Enjoy your time here in Dubai. Thank you.